right, here we go. We all right? We should be ready. All right, let me know. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Always want to start it off. I'm always curious. It's 3 in the afternoon my time, so I'm a little bit curious where you guys are watching from. Like always, lots of stuff to talk about today. DeAndre Jordan didn't end up getting traded yesterday. He ended up opting out of his deal. Obviously, Lebron opted out yesterday. Did he opt out on stream or did he? Yeah, he had already opted out when we streamed yesterday. Apparently, DeMarcus Cousins, there's rumors he's actually going to stay in New Orleans, which we talked about yesterday, kind of thinking maybe he was going to end up in Washington. So lots to talk about today. Probably going to go for right around an hour today. My plan moving forward, I've been slacking a little bit lately on the videos. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I've definitely not been putting out as many videos lately as I normally do. But the plan moving forward is to either have a stream or a video every day, with the exception of this coming Wednesday, because that's 4th of July and I've got stuff going on. So I'm not going to be able to get a video or a stream out this Wednesday. But moving forward, the plan is to try and have a stream or a video every single day. So tomorrow's video, I've already got it planned out, ready to go. Same thing with Mondays and Tuesdays. And then, like I said, we'll try and fit in a stream or a video each day. I can't really do both just because YouTube gets a little bit weird when you post a video and you live stream in the same day, especially if you live stream after putting out a video. It like messes with how it gets recommended. And obviously, I want to make sure as many people as possible get to see my videos. So won't ever do it on the same day for the most part unless something crazy happens. But like I said, trying to get at least every day have a live stream or a video. So whatever you guys have, questions-wise, whatever you guys want to talk about, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, gaming guy said, I realize you haven't been posting. It's just, you know how it is. Like there's ups and downs with, doing YouTube, and I just have not had the time, to commit to doing it as much as I'd like to. And obviously I want to continue to keep up the quality of the video, make sure I'm continuing to put out videos that I enjoy making. And I don't want to just put out a video just to put one out. So obviously I used to do like 5 times a week, and I'd love to get back to that. I'm planning on bringing back Trade Machine Tuesday this week, just to talk a little bit about some Kawhi stuff, but definitely been slacking lately. I will fully admit that. What's up, QWERTY? How you doing? See a couple of different names today. Gengar, I know you were in here yesterday. Mega, I know you're in the comments all the time. A couple of different names today, though. Like I said, it's 3 in the afternoon for me, so Lord knows where you guys are watching from. Yeah, clickbait. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into it. Let's go ahead and jump into it. With the DeAndre Jordan stuff. So yesterday in stream, I talked a lot about the idea that I thought DeAndre was going to get traded yesterday. There was a lot of talk about him opting into his deal, and obviously now that he's opted out, more than likely he's not going to be traded, and more than likely he's not going to be a Clipper either. And from my perspective, if the Mavericks were willing to trade something of value, I don't understand why the Clippers wouldn't have made that move. So that makes me think that basically the Mavs were offering like Wes Matthews, and the Clippers just weren't interested, and they said, we'll just let DeAndre opt out. It kind of seems like they've just given up on the idea of trying to bring him back. It just doesn't seem like a good fit. And pretty much the only 2 rumors I've seen is pretty consistently that Dallas is involved, and that's something that I've talked about, weeks and weeks ago when talking about DeAndre Jordan in a Free Agent Friday. And then the inevitable rumors about the Warriors potentially trying to make it happen. But the thing is, DeAndre just opted out of a $24 million contract. He's not going to get 24. Nobody's paying him 24 this summer. But he can probably get like an 18 to $20 million range, maybe like 3 or 4 year deal, and have that longer term commitment. So he's not going to give up that much money, in my opinion, just to go play for the Warriors for what would be the equivalent, I think, of like $4.5, $5 million mid-level exception. And I've definitely seen those rumors. But I highly, highly doubt that DeAndre is going to end up playing for anybody but the Mavericks. That's just me. And I would definitely like to be right about, so maybe I'm a little biased, because I would definitely like to be right about my Free Agent Friday prediction, but that's where we're going to be at for now. The Wes Matthews contract, I'm pretty sure it's expiring next year. I'm almost positive it is, because it wouldn't have made sense for the Clippers to want him back. I think it was supposed to just be DeAndre for Wes. The Clippers would get someone that they would actually use, and it wouldn't be like locker room issues or whatever. He wants to actually be there, and then his contract would expire just like DeAndre's would. I'm pretty sure it was a 1 year expiring. Yeah, QWERTY, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm almost positive that I mean, there's other teams definitely that could be involved with DJ, but I really think it's going to be the Mavs. I think the Mavs are the most motivated. I think they really want to try and make the playoffs, and they kind of need a 5-man to fill out their lineup, which is going to be DSJ, Doncic, Barnes, Dirk, and then if they get DJ, it'll be DJ. So that's definitely what I think is going to happen. That's bothering the heck out of me that's not straight. There we go. Radar's all good. No worries. You don't have to be late. I didn't plan this one out. I didn't schedule this one, so not really any such thing as being late. Julius Randle. So Julius Randle is someone I'm going to be talking about. Is it Tuesday's video? Monday's video. Monday's video is basically going to be, which of those restricted free agents is going to get the biggest deal. Zach LaVine, Jabari Parker, Julius Randle, and Aaron Gordon. And Julius Randle, to me, is probably the most interesting of that group just because we have no idea what's going to happen. What's going to happen in LA. So, I mean, very well, they could end up with nobody, right? Bron might not come, PG might not be there, and they might not trade for Kawhi. And then that obviously changes the market for Julius Randle. But on the other hand, if they get 2 or 3 of those guys and he's not involved in a trade, they could re-sign him and go over the cap. I don't know. I think he's a valuable player. I think he's going to be a player that people are going to want on their team. He had a great year last year, and statistically, obviously, he showed some things, but also he showed a lot of things that you want to see out of a young player. And I really like him as a player. I just don't know that he's going to end up getting more than Aaron Gordon because there's hard proof that the Pacers are willing to drop $20 million a year on Aaron Gordon. So we'll see how that goes. I would imagine that if he doesn't get traded, he'll end up being a Laker unless someone like the Nets or the Bulls or somebody throws a ton of money at him. Dog, that's an interesting question. He says, where do you think J.J. Redick will go this offseason? J.J. Redick's kind of in mercenary mode, like he went from the Clippers and signed the 1-year deal with Philly and made a lot of money, but made a ton of contributions to that team as well. And I kind of get the feeling like Philly wants to keep him and that, he built a really good relationship with that franchise. I just don't know how everything's going to work with them. I mean, it would have to be a situation where he would either have to make less money, they'd have to bring him back after getting some other guys, because I highly doubt they're going to re-sign him to another $20 million deal. Obviously, they have space to bring in other guys if they don't bring him back. It's tough to tell on JJ just because, like I said, he's kind of in mercenary mode. I'd really like to see him back in Philly. I like, the way he fits with that team. I like his presence with that younger team. I'd really like to see him back in Philly, but we'll see how it goes. I can't really give a prediction on that, though. Mega says, I doubt Redick would come to Milwaukee, but I'd love him on my Bucks. Didn't he? Maybe my memory's a little off here. Didn't he go from Orlando to Milwaukee? Didn't he get traded there? I got to look this up because I don't want to talk out of the side of my mouth here. I'm almost positive he did, right? Didn't he get traded from Orlando to Milwaukee? He was drafted by Orlando. Wasn't that good? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was with the Bucks for a little bit. So the return, actually. The return. What's up, Doc? How you doing? Denzel? What's going on, guys? Sean's in here, like always. I love it. Tommy, I appreciate the follow on Instagram yesterday, bud. Thank you. You did. Mega, are you bitter about it? He said, we gave up Tobias Harris for half a season of Redick. Yeah, that's why it's so weird to me that I actually remember that JJ played for the Bucks because he wasn't there long. That's funny. That's funny. What's going on, guys? A couple people dragging in. What's going on, Mike? Spencer? Denzel's asking about Dwight Howard to Golden State. I haven't heard anything about Dwight. It's kind of crazy to me how much the perception of him has shifted, right? Like he was far and away the best 5-man in the league, at his peak. And everybody wanted him, and there was all the Dwight sweepstakes. And then I really, as a Nets fan, at the time, it really seemed like he was going to come to Brooklyn. Like when all the trade stuff was going down, it really seemed to me like he was going to end up a Net. And then he gets traded to the Lakers, and we know what happened there. And then the Rockets and Hawks and Hornets. He's been on so many teams now. I don't think that's a guy the Warriors are going to try and get, though. I don't think he fits in terms of his demeanor, in terms of just the way situations have gone for him in the past. Obviously, they've taken on guys like JaVale McGee and Nick Young, but I don't think Dwight's a good fit there at all. I really have no idea where Dwight's going to go. Maybe Washington, teams like that need a 5-man. I don't think he's going to command a ton of money despite the fact that he did have a pretty productive season last year. I just don't think that teams want to deal with him and spend a lot of money on him. So I would think maybe Washington, a team like that needs a 5-man to be productive, doesn't have a ton of money to spend, but I mean, we might be at the point where Dwight's a mid-level exception guy, honestly, like just because of all the things that have happened in his career, how badly a lot of the situations he's been in have gone. We might be there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. Do you think Dwight's a mid-level exception guy now? Do you think he's going to get 10? Think he's going to get 11? I have no idea. If this is the 2016 offseason and this offseason's Dwight is in 2016 offseason, there's no way he's a mid-level exception guy. But as we talk about all the time, there's just not as much money around the summer. There's really not a ton of teams that have a ton of cap space. So that mid-level exception is, going to end up getting you a lot better player this year than it would have in the past. I think like the Raptors last offseason got CJ Miles for the $8 million non-taxpayer mid-level. CJ Miles is a very good player, very good shooter. But like this year, you could end up getting a guy like Avery Bradley almost, or Will Barton, for the non-taxpayer mid-level, which is something you never would have been able to say, like I said, in previous off seasons. So that's really interesting to me. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. You wouldn't pay Dwight more than $7 million. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like he's in that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 range, depending on who wants him that badly. You know what I mean? The Nets officially bought him out yet, or was that just a rumor? Either way, I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. Yeah, they did buy him out. No, so that's the thing is, I would probably put him in that 6, 7, 8, $9 million range in that non-taxpayer mid-level. And I don't know, like I said, you guys can tell me in the chat who you think would be in on him, but the first team that comes to mind to me is Washington. Dallas, if the DeAndre thing falls through, guys like that. You guys can tell me other teams you can think of off the top of your head for Dwight, but those are who I'm thinking of at first. If people were talking about the World Cup, I still have not watched a single second of the World Cup. I know they're in the elimination state, the knockout round, and I saw a goal from France on Twitter today that was absolutely nuts, but I haven't watched any of it live. How much longer is it? How much longer does the World Cup go on? When is it over? Because I try and watch, even though I'm not like super into baseball or hockey or whatever, I try to watch like the final rounds of all those things. So the Stanley Cup Final, the World Series, I try and watch those things just because they're really entertaining. Qual, what says not enabled? What are you talking about? Qual, it should be fine. It should be enabled. Someone did yesterday. I don't know. I've never donated on YouTube before, but someone did yesterday. Diffuse did yesterday, Koala. I'm not sure why it isn't. I can look at it if it's an issue. I can look and see. What's up, Patrick? World Cup and sometime around July. Okay. Dwight's in Milwaukee. But they already have. They'd have to move somebody, right? I mean, they have John Henson, Thon Maker. Don't they have a Plumlee or a Zeller? They have one of those two. It's an interesting thought, but I don't think so. No. Oh, the link in the description doesn't work. I think I'll take that out. I think that might be connected to Twitch is what that is, but you should be able to do Super Chat because someone did it yesterday. I'll take that. Thank you for pointing that out, Qual. I'll take that out of the description. I didn't even put that there. Streamlabs did. I will take that out because I'm pretty sure that's connected to like Twitch or something. That was something that it put in there, not me. But you should be able to do Super Chat. And I should have... Rex, how are you watching this? Rex, you're supposed to be on the road. Tyler Zeller's not my brother, okay? Let's have this conversation. Neither Zeller is my brother, nor am I related to them. I've had people tell me that I look like them. Doc can probably show you a picture that he tweeted at me where I am side by side with him. I do not look like a Zeller. I don't. It's over. That's the end of the conversation. Okay, back to the NBA. Y'all get me distracted. Patrick says Randall to Dallas. I really think that they're going to spend their money on DJ. And that's going to take up like 18 to 20 of what they have. And that's not, whatever they have left is not going to be enough to get Randall. Because again, I mean, have you guys seen anybody else? I haven't. Have you guys seen any other teams that are rumored to be, Tucker Zeller, that are rumored to be in on DJ? Because I haven't. I really haven't. See, that's what I mean. So Doc just put that up. But that's on, so I don't know what's going on with stream alerts, y'all, to be honest. I know Super Chat works. So if that's something you want to do, I would really appreciate it. It's not an expectation. If that's something you want to do, then I would really appreciate that. Doc, thank you, bud. Nevius says, what do you think the Heat should do with Hassan Whiteside? That's someone that we haven't talked about in a while, right? Like as soon as kind of the playoffs ended, right? We were always talking about Hassan Whiteside, where he could be traded because obviously he didn't look great. But the thing is, like, who's trading for? It's 2 more years after this year? Like, obviously, once the new league year starts, 2 more years of Hassan Whiteside at $20+ million. Who's trading for that? I have no idea. I don't think anybody's trading for that. So there's just not much of a market. So what they should do with Hassan Whiteside, maybe wait until the deadline. Try and make him look better, right? Like give him some minutes. Try and show people what he can do on the floor, and see if you can trade him at the deadline when his value is higher. Because right now I don't think anybody's jumping on the trading for Hassan Whiteside bandwagon. Mateo, my favorite team is the Nets, my dude. Nets. Nicholas, what's up, bud? Doc, Washbaum, Tucker Zeller has been hired as the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. Qual, I appreciate your 211, bud. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Guys, again, it's not an expectation for you to donate, but if that's something you want to do to support the channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I don't know. The alerts are clearly connected to Twitch somehow. I will get that stuff figured out. I don't know why your super chat isn't popping up in the alert box either, Koala, but I really appreciate it. But thank you for your 211. Again, I'm very new. There it goes. Hey, okay. I don't know why there's 2 of them. But you're up there. Thank you, Koala. I appreciate your 211. No worries, Koala. No worries, bud. Again, it's not an expectation. I do appreciate the support. I've been there. I've been there before, for sure. James, finally an NBA YouTuber who's a Nets fan. I'm trying to think. So I don't know who Andy's team is. Obviously, Kurzemba is a Bulls fan. A lot of guys I feel like are Lakers or Celtics fans that I know of. As the Spurs, would you take a Lakers offer of Brandon Ingram, a first-round pick, and a sign and trade with Julius Randle for Kawhi? Let me read that again. Take a Lakers offer of Brandon Ingram, a first-round pick. Whose first-round pick? The Lakers' own first-round pick? I probably wouldn't, and here's why. And I saw, yeah, B-Souls is Celtics. I saw some of the stuff yesterday. So right now, if the Lakers don't think that Paul George is coming to LA, which to me it seems like they're highly concerned that he's not coming to LA, then Kawhi Leonard holds more value to the Lakers than any other team in the entire league, and they're also the only team that's super motivated to trade for him because they know that he's going to stay. The only other team that probably thinks he would stay would be the Clippers because it is in LA. But the thing is, the Lakers essentially know that if they make a Kawhi Leonard trade, then they're basically trading for LeBron and Kawhi, right? They're basically trading for LeBron and Kawhi. So they're more motivated than anybody else to make that deal. So I'm going to make them sweat. If I'm the Spurs, I'm going to make the Lakers sweat. I'm going to make them try and give me everything that they can because they know that Bron's on the way if they make that deal. So that's what I would do. I would just hold out as long as I possibly could and get everything I possibly could out of them because eventually I do think he is going to end up in LA. So that's what I would do. So I would probably, if I was the Spurs, I would say no, and I'd ask for more. I'd ask for Kuz. I'd ask for Josh Hart. I'd ask for someone else's pick, maybe a 3-team deal, someone else's pick other than the Lakers because the Lakers pick is not going to be that valuable. But that's just me. Who did I miss? 33 Lil 33, thank you for your $2. He says, what trades can the Bucks do this offseason? I feel like I haven't made an offseason video about the Bucks. Basically, the only trade that I came up with that a lot of people disagreed with actually was them trying to get Hassan Whiteside for John Henson and Delly. And the thing about the Bucks is obviously they need to keep Giannis happy. but they have a lot of bad contracts. I mean, not bad like, well, dang bad, where he's not contributing anything, but Henson's making too much money. Delly's making too much money. Eric Bledsoe's on a 1-year deal, or only has 1 more year left on his deal. So it's kind of tough for them. Because do you really want any of those guys? Do you really want Delly? Do you really want John Henson? I really like Chris Middleton, and I think that, he's going to be a guy that definitely they should keep around. So who do they have of value, right? I mean, who do they have that anybody else is going to want? Eric Bledsoe's value is down a little bit. So I don't know that there's any like big moves they can make. Maybe you try and throw Tony Snell to somebody who I think is a very good player and is worth a lot of the money he's making. But if you are looking for guys with value on the Bucks roster, then I guess Tony Snell, is that guy. So maybe Tony Snell maybe to Washington for someone that really needs a wing. Maybe Tony Snell to the Pelicans or something who really needs a wing. I don't know. But someone like that, Tony Snell's really the only guy of value that I can think of. They do need shooters. Paying Tledovich as well. We have Bledsoe, Middleton, Brogdon up after next year. Malcolm Brogdon's interesting to me as well because I don't know, guys. If we're gonna unsub and sub just to have the alert pop up, then I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, because Hat Trick, I know you were subbed already, so let's not do that, please. Who was I just talking about? Yeah, so Brogdon, he obviously had a very good rookie year, but this year is a little bit concerning, right? I mean, the injuries were kind of an issue for him. He didn't play a ton. He looked good when he did play, especially in the postseason. Definitely seemed like he helped their team a lot, but I don't know. The Bucks are kind of like the Timberwolves and all these other teams that have expensive rosters that really don't look to be making the playoffs much. I don't know. They're kind of in a tough spot. Yeah, Sam, I agree. So he says Snell's not as trash as people think. He isn't starting caliber. Yeah, I really like Tony Snell. Like, I think Tony Snell is a guy that a lot of teams would like to have. Ability to shoot, ability to guard. He's gotten a lot better since he's been in Milwaukee as opposed to in Chicago. I definitely like Tony Snell. Doc with the breaking news. Cole Aldrich just got waived. Yeah, someone said in chat before the stream actually started. They said the only tweet that Shams or Waj put out today was that Zubac for the Lakers. Are they bringing back? Yeah, they're bringing him back. That's like the only thing that's happened. It's crazy how the sub counter's freaking out now that I have alerts up on the screen. Mateo says, would you trade Schroeder, however I pronounce his name, to the Pacers for Collison, Leaf, and a pick? Just saying a pick is kind of difficult because there's protections and everything that goes into it. So, it can be kind of tough to figure out just saying a pick. TJ Leaf doesn't really hold a lot of value to me personally. I know the Pacers do need a point guard, especially if they don't end up with someone like Kemba Walker. But I would think, as we talked about yesterday, that Dennis would kind of be a backup plan to Kemba, and you would try and get Kemba first. If I'm the Hawks, if someone's offering me anything, I probably would take it, though. You said Collison, Leaf, and a pick? I would probably take that if I'm the Hawks. And if I'm the Pacers, depending on the pick and the protections, I probably would do that. Yeah, I think we're going to turn these off. You guys, I can still see it if you donate, but I'm gonna turn that off for now. I can switch it to where it doesn't show subscribers. Actually, let's just do that. Let's just do that. 1 second, guys. I apologize. Okay, that should be better. There we go. Interesting. Radar says, do you think now Blake Griffin is in the East, he'll become an all-star again? And I guess the point you're making is it's easier to be an all-star in the East. I think if Blake is healthy, like he's so much better than maybe the perception of him is now. Obviously, he doesn't have the same kind of athleticism, but I thought I just turned that off. He's one of the best passing big men, you could argue in league history. There are advanced stats to show that Blake Griffin is one of the best passing big men in league history. So he definitely still can be an all-star. I don't know if Detroit is really a greatest place for him to be. I question that fit with him and Drummond, but I definitely think he can be an all-star in the East. Diop says, can Kevin Love carry this expensive roster to the 8th seed if LeBron leaves? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I kind of think that's the plan for the Cavs, is even if Bron leaves, I think they're still going to try and make the playoffs. There's these reports that their owner, Dan Gilbert, doesn't really care if Bron stays or goes. Like, he wouldn't be upset if Bron left because he wants his team back. Now, I will say I don't know if that's actually the case, because you have to take all these offseason rumors with a grain of salt. But I would imagine that, yeah, they can still make the playoffs with George Hill, JR, Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. It's still like a 6, 7, 8 seed in the East for sure. Not in the West, but in the East, yeah. So Nicholas says, and I would love to do a video about this at some point. He says, if the playoffs were a 1-16 format, do you think it would make the finals more fun to watch again? And Nicholas, I'm actually going to mod you really quick because you are always in stream, bud. You are always in the comments. You're always asking good questions. I appreciate it. So there you go. If the playoffs were in a 1-16 format, do you think it would make the finals more fun to watch again? Absolutely. I think it's definitely time for the league to go to a 1-16 format, regardless of conference. The top 16 records in the league make the playoffs. Now, there's obviously downsides to that. You could argue that it would negatively affect tanking and make tanking even worse, all that stuff. But the Western Conference Finals this year should have been the finals, right? Like the Warriors and Rockets were the two best teams in the league. The Rockets, if they had a healthy CP3, are probably winning that series. And then we had all this hype built up for the finals, even though most people like myself thought the Cavs weren't going to win the series. They end up getting swept. Like, that's not what you want in what is essentially, the Super Bowl, the event at the end of your season. So I would say 1-16, yes, absolutely it needs to happen. Top 16 records in the league, regardless of conference, make the playoffs. But you have to change some scheduling things with that, because you can't. Maybe they should just get rid of conferences altogether, because if you keep the conferences the same way in terms of scheduling, but then you don't seed the playoffs via conferences, then the Western Conference teams are punished for playing a more difficult schedule throughout the season. You need to have an even scheduling where everybody plays everybody relatively the same amount of games. Now, that can affect rivalries if there are any like division rivalries and everything, in-state rivalries, teams that really don't like each other, teams that traditionally play each other a lot. That can definitely affect that. And I think that's one of the reasons they haven't gone to it, because you can't just say, let's keep the East and the West the way it is scheduling-wise, and then when the playoffs roll around, just take the top 16 records, because right now, the West is a much tougher league if you're keeping it the same conferences, so their record might be brought down a little bit by the fact that they're playing the Warriors and the Rockets a lot more than the East are. So you have to account for all of those things. Instead of just saying, let's take the top 16 records, they would probably just have to say, let's get rid of conferences altogether. We have the ability to have all these teams travel around now. Like, scheduling-wise, it's not a huge deal to have these teams travel, and everybody needs to play each other 2.5 to 3 times. If there's 30 teams, 82 games, that would be how I would do it, is you've got to change the scheduling as well. Yeah, Diop, he says the travel schedule is going to be crazy. I don't think it's going to be that bad, because you can still have teams go on road trips. Like, if, let's say, like you wouldn't have, because the schedule is already crazy. Like, a team can play, like Golden State can play in New York one night and have to come home and play like a home and home with the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like, the scheduling is already nuts. But so you can still schedule it to where a team takes a 5-game East Coast road trip and then goes home and plays a whole bunch of teams in the West. I really don't think the scheduling is going to be that big of a deal. Clickbait says, what about a 66-game season so everybody would play each other twice? I would not be against that either. It's never going to happen because the league loses money because there's 16 less games in the season. So I think that's the biggest thing that's kind of holding back the league from going to a shorter season, is that it's going to lose the money. But I would not be against it, because when you we've talked about this a little bit before, when you get to the point where your season is so long that teams are intentionally resting guys and the games hold that little value, then that's an issue. Like, that's a big problem. So I definitely think the season needs to be shorter, but I don't know that it's ever going to happen. Gengar, that's a really good question. He says, which team are you most interested in watching in the Summer League? When does Summer League start? Obviously, it's after free agency. Someone remind me when Summer League starts. Definitely the Mavs. If Luka's not going to play. Luka's not playing in Summer League because he's just getting off his Real Madrid schedule and probably some international stuff too. So not the Mavs. The Magic. If the Magic are in Summer League, because didn't they shut down the Orlando Summer League? And it's just in Vegas now. One of them, I think, isn't a thing anymore. Maybe Utah. I don't know. I don't know which teams are playing in Summer League, but if the Magic are, definitely them. I want to see Mo Bamba. The Clippers, I want to see Jerome Robinson. I want to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll give you one more. And the Bulls, I want to see Wendell Carter Jr. So all those teams with those high-profile rookies that I'm really interested in, definitely those guys. I still would like to see the Mavs. I'm assuming Dennis is going to be playing. But I'd be a lot more interested in them if Luka was actually playing, but I don't believe he is. Summer League starts July 6th. That's quick. That's next Friday. Y'all, do you realize? So, like, there's the report that Bron is going to decide where he's going to go July 4th. That's a week from this past Wednesday. That's like 5 days from now, 4 or 5 days from now. We'll know where LeBron James is going to go if that report is correct. Like, I feel like everything's happening so quick. Like, that is just, boom, it's here, and he's going to decide. Like, maybe it's because in the past when he's decided he's gone on these tours and he's gone to all these teams and everything and gone to all these meetings, so it's been pushed out a little bit. But it's just crazy to me that we're going to know this time next week. I'll be on a stream probably, and we'll be talking about LeBron with the Lakers or the Cavs or Philly or whoever it is. And that's just crazy to me that that's already going to be happening. And then Summer League pops right back up, and that's just what it is with the league, just being a year-round sport. I did turn off Twitch alerts for those guys that are subscribing, or Twitch alerts. I did turn off notifications, the alert box. It does still pop up for donos and things like that, and super chats, but it doesn't pop up for subs. Mike says, do you think Marcus Morris could be moved from the Celtics since he's looking at less minutes next season with the team coming back healthy? I think any deal that the Celtics make for a star, obviously AD's been rumored, Kawhi, all that stuff, any trade for anybody extremely significant that the Celtics are going to make is going to have to involve Marcus Morris and probably involve Marcus Smart as well, because they don't have the contracts to make it work otherwise. They're obviously over the cap, and they've got rookie deal guys, and they've got max guys, and that's about it. And I think Marcus Morris is like 5 or 6 or 7 million, an expiring contract, and then whatever Marcus Smart signs for. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded, but I would imagine it would be more as a result of them trading for a bigger name and needing his contract to make it work, rather than a lack of minutes or something like that, because they're going to find a way to play all these guys. Brad Stevens is a wizard, so I don't think that's going to be that much of an issue. Yeah, Diop, I'm not saying AD is going anywhere. I'm just saying that that's kind of always been the rumor, right? That the Celtics are going to try and get him. I don't think he's going anywhere either, but Nicholas says, Tyreke Evans is an underrated free agent. Agree or disagree? I would agree. He had a really, really good year in Memphis. I was shocked that they didn't capitalize on that at the trade deadline, because apparently they were offered picks for him and they decided not to move him for whatever reason, and I would imagine he's going to find a new team this summer. He's probably another one of those mid-level exception guys like Avery Bradley and Will Barton and all those guys, but I definitely think his ability to make plays, he's got good size, improved his jump shot a lot this year. I can't tell you exactly what he shot from the three-point line, but I can tell you it was impressive, much better than he did earlier in his career, and that's a guy that you might have thought almost would have been out of the league, despite being the rookie of the year. His first year, he was pretty close to being out, and now he's definitely a very valuable free agent. I'd say underrated in terms of someone that a lot of people don't talk about, that they should be. Vipa Flame says, where will Marcus Smart go if he doesn't re-sign with Boston? I can't imagine him being anywhere else. Marcus Smart, his game is just all about the Celtics. The city loves him. The team loves him. If they're not making a deal for Kawhi, Marcus Smart is going to be a Celtic. I just, unless someone offers him like $20 million or a max or something, as long as it's a reasonable deal, the Celtics are going to match it because they understand that they have a real chance to make some things happen next year and the following years after that. And I think that they're going to bring him back. Now, that's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying that that's what I would do. I've talked about that a little bit, but in terms of what I think Boston's going to do, yeah, I think they're going to bring him back. So I'm reading through some of these, make sure I get something different to talk about. This is Richard says, do you think Markelle Fultz will get traded next season if he doesn't improve? I have no idea what to think about Markelle Fultz because this is a guy that was the consensus #1 overall pick and had one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest, injury situations that we've ever seen. And it wouldn't surprise me if he came back next year and was scoring 10 to 15 points a game, and it wouldn't surprise me if he only played in 40 games and continued to struggle. He's extremely difficult to figure out. And I don't think that Philly's interested in moving him right now because they know that his value is lower than it's probably ever going to be. You would imagine that he's going to at least show something next year, the following seasons, to increase his value. Right now, I'm not saying he has no value. I'm just saying that it wouldn't make sense for them to move him because it's probably lower than it's ever going to be. Sam says, do you think Fred VanVleet will sign with another team to be a starting point guard? It depends on the market for him. It depends on how much it costs because I do believe the Raptors want to bring him back. And it just depends on, what they're bidding against, right? Like it just depends on who really needs a point guard bad enough to pay Fred VanVleet, $8 to $10 million a year. I think he's like an $8 million a year guy. I think the Raptors would definitely do that. So who's paying more than that for Fred VanVleet to be their point guard? I love him as a player. I think he's a really, really good player, great defender, can shoot the ball really well. I don't know about necessarily a starting caliber guy. I think he's a great fit in Toronto, and I would imagine he would come back on something like a 3-year 24, maybe a 4-year 32, something like that. Hello from Indonesia. Appreciate it. Big shout out to Indonesia. Did not think when I started doing YouTube that I would be running a live stream and someone from Indonesia would be in the chat, but I appreciate it. That's awesome. Who's that for? Mike says, do you think a team of Isaiah Thomas, Oladipo, Bogdanovich, Aaron Gordon, and Miles Turner could be dangerous in the East next year? And then I'm assuming the sixth man would be Thaddeus Young. That's a pretty good lineup. Obviously, Oladipo is a really good defender, can take some of the pressure off Isaiah, who's obviously not the greatest defender. Aaron Gordon is a really intriguing option for me at the 4. Then you've got Sabonis and Thaddeus Young come off the bench. But who do you have wing and guard wise coming off the bench for that team? Dangerous, I don't know. Top 4 seed, maybe, depending on where Bron is. But no, I like that group. That's an interesting group. Appreciate it, Doc. Hello from the North Pole. Yeah, right. Savior says, hey, Logic, is basketball the only sport you like? No. Basketball in the NFL. Basketball and football. College basketball, college football, and the NFL and the NBA. Panthers are my team. Other than that, that's about it. That's about all I watch. Charlie says, do you think Harry Giles will be in the running for Rookie of the Year? You mean second year Rookie of the Year? I'm messing with people that are not Ben Simmons fans. But no, I think Harry Giles is done. I think he's had so many knee issues. And it's a shame because I remember watching him, on Team USA teams, under 18 teams with Jason Tatum and just being a beast, being the best player on the floor, scoring inside, super athletic. And I don't think it's ever going to happen for him in the NBA. I understand the mindset where people are like, oh, well, Joel Embiid missed all that time and ended up coming back, but that's not the norm for big guys. That's definitely the exception. And unfortunately, no, I don't think Harry Giles is going to be able to do much next year and any of the following years. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see Harry Giles have a great bounce back year, but no, I don't think so. From Germany, Czech Republic. Who said from Brazil? Nicholas, was that you? It is. That's awesome, guys. That's so cool to have people from Canada, Czech Republic, Germany. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Xavier said, I hope you ever do videos NFL. We need some people to do NFL. I think part of the reason that people don't do NFL videos, there are people that do them, but the reason the NBA is as popular to do YouTube videos on as it is because there's stuff to talk about this time of the year. We haven't had a game in however long, weeks, and there's still plenty of stuff to make videos on, to do live streams on, to make content on, and that's part of the NBA kind of being a year-round sport. And for the NFL, I mean, we had the draft, and then, training camps coming up. Like, there's stuff to talk about, but not necessarily a lot of stuff to make really engaging content on, right? You can watch NFL Network to keep up on training camp stuff if you want, but I think that, the NBA definitely lends itself more to content creation. I personally am not ever going to do NFL stuff. I tried to in the beginning when I started my channel, and then the NBA stuff caught on, and that's just what I've stuck to. But I agree, it would be cool to see people create content around the NFL. I just don't know that it lends itself as well to a year-round content creation schedule the way the NBA does. From Egypt, that's awesome. Yoshi says, how did Robert Williams fall to Boston? So here's what I read. I read that teams were concerned about his knee, and they had issues getting medical reports from his agent. Now, whether that's intentional or not, I'm not sure. The only reason I can think of why you would intentionally not share those is because, one, it's really bad, or two, he really wanted him to fall to a better team like Boston. So obviously that worked out if that was him and his agent's plan. And then apparently there were also some off the court or attitude issues, just being a little bit immature at Texas A&M. But I think he's an outstanding player. I think the Boston Celtics got an absolute steal. But that's what I read is in terms of why he fell, with some injury stuff, some off the court stuff, not having medical reports, things like that. Flame says, Kyrie for Kawhi both have injury scares and both may leave. Is it close to fair? I think I saw the same video that you did, where Chris Broussard was yelling, not really talking, yelling about a potential Kyrie for Kawhi swap. And the reasoning was, like you said, both coming off some injury issues. Both of them have been rumored to be leaving. In Kawhi's case, he's definitely leaving. In Kyrie's case, rumored to potentially thinking about leaving. They each have 1 year left on their deal. But if I'm Boston, I know I have a much better chance of convincing Kyrie to come back than I do Kawhi, right? So I have a better chance of actually having the player that is involved in that deal a year from now with Kyrie than I do with Kawhi. Now, you can definitely argue, and you're probably correct to argue, that Kawhi, when healthy, is a better player than Kyrie when healthy because he has a bigger two-way impact. But I really don't think Kyrie is going to leave Boston. I think Boston, if healthy, is going to have a great year, and I think that's going to be a lot to walk away from, even though obviously Kyrie asked to be traded from a team that was 13 months removed from winning a championship. But I think the Kyrie, I think I might go to New York stuff is just a way for him to make sure people appreciate his existence in Boston and not just think that it's an automatic for him to re-sign. Obviously, financially, it makes sense for him to hold off on the extension and to try and sign a max deal in free agency, but I don't think he's leaving. I think he's just saying that because if he does leave, he's saying, well, I kind of told you guys, I warned you guys, whereas if he comes back, then the whole team and city loves him even more than they already do because they thought they might lose him. So I think that's all it is. I don't think there's any way he ends up leaving Boston. Was he really? Xavier says Robert Williams was one pick away from being drafted from Golden State. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. That would have been nuts. That would have been an absolute steal for them. Golden State has some interesting free agents coming up. That's a Twitch follower, apparently. I have got to get my stream alerts figured out. Golden State has some interesting free agents. So Kevon Looney, I'm almost positive, is a restricted free agent. Might be unrestricted. He's definitely a free agent. And that's an interesting one because he really helped them. You know, Zaza barely played late season in the playoffs. Him and JaVale McGee and obviously Draymond as well took up a lot of the minutes at the 5. So that's an interesting scenario for them. Obviously, there's rumors about any number of 5 men coming to Golden State. But, yeah, that's an interesting one to think about. But, no, in the end, it would have been crazy to have Robert Williams be with Golden State, but I think he landed in a great situation in Boston. What time is it? All right, we're going to go 4 more minutes. We're going to go to 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Levi says, Warriors said they're not pursuing Dwight. Any chance they scoop DeAndre? There's no way. Like, that honestly to me. So, like, obviously Kevin Durant taking pay cuts. Klay Thompson taking pay cuts. All these guys. Obviously, it was a sign that the Warriors are, like, that power that they have to make people know that they're going to win a championship and take pay cuts to come play for them. But this would be a whole different level of that. If DeAndre Jordan gives up what would essentially be $13 to $15 million a year on a long-term deal to sign a mid-level exception deal with the Warriors, I would be shocked and almost ready to say that the league needs to do something about, about the Warriors, because DeAndre Jordan, whether you think he's that valuable right now or not, is still a guy that brings a lot of value to the floor, and it could be a borderline all-star guy, right? Like, for him to sign for the mid-level exception with the Warriors would be nuts. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. That's too much money to give up. I think DeAndre, within a week or so, is going to end up being a Dallas Maverick. Tanner says, and someone else asked the same question, if you're the Clippers, do you start your rookie guards? Yep, I just saw that. Thank you, Nicholas. I just saw the question. It's tough. I mean, Lou Williams is clearly a guy that works better coming off the bench. You have Pat Beverly, Avery Bradley. You may or may not have Teodosic opted in, but I don't know if they're going to keep him or not. They might buy him out. It depends on how they play, because you don't want to break a guy's confidence throwing him out there and them not playing well. I think they both can definitely do good things as rookies, because you got to remember, I mean, this is going to be the argument made for years and years, but you got to remember that 13 is where Donovan Mitchell was selected. So it's not like, late lottery guys can't have big rookie years. I probably would, but if things started to go poorly or one of them started to lose confidence, then I wouldn't hesitate to start someone else. But yeah, I probably would to start, honestly. All right, we're going to go 2 more questions. Two more. LaFlop James 1234, name always makes me laugh, bud. Who's the Donovan Mitchell of the draft? I think it's Lonnie Walker, but you never know. Lonnie Walker and basically anybody that would have gotten drafted by the Spurs at that spot are going to end up, developing into pretty solid players like DeJounte Murray is becoming. And I think that backcourt combination with their length and their size is really interesting. DeJounte Murray's got to learn to shoot the ball. Lonnie Walker, I don't think, will have much of an issue shooting the ball at the NBA level. But that's an interesting backcourt. And then if you end up trading for Kawhi and you end up with Brandon Ingram and Kuzma and Hart and whoever you can get with a pick, and potentially Julius Randle, again, if that is the deal, that's an intriguing group. Not mostly, but partly because it's San Antonio, because you know that they can develop those players. It's a really interesting group moving forward. Doc, Doc, I have not gotten the notification. I don't know if that's notification worthy. All right, let's see. One more. Ooh, there it is. Lucas. Is Zion Williamson a #1 pick next year? I don't know how you guys feel about Zion, but in my opinion, he is at the NBA level. Doc, I appreciate your bit, bud. Thank you. At the NBA level, he is an athletic, unskilled 5-man. I think that all the domination that he, showed in high school has a lot to do with him just being an absolute monster athletically. Skill-wise, I have a lot of question marks. I don't think he's a wing. I think in college he'll still probably put up pretty good numbers. But at the NBA level, I don't think he's skilled enough at his size to play the wing. Don't think he's going to be a good enough shooter. I don't think he's going to be able to handle the ball well enough. I think he's an outstanding athlete. But I think skill level-wise, he's going to end up being a small 5-man. Not that he can't excel in that role and be great defensively, and he's obviously very strong. But I don't think he's a wing. And no, I don't think he's a number 1 pick guy. I think someone from Duke will be the number 1 pick, whether it's Barrett or Reddish, one of those two. Really like Barrett. But no, I don't think he's number 1 pick. I'm not very high on Zion Williamson as an NBA player. And that is where we're going to end the stream today. So like I said, guys, I'm planning on having videos tomorrow morning, Monday and Tuesday as well. Wednesday, like I said, I might try and get a video out, but it depends. It's 4th of July. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to be busy. I don't know that I'm going to have time for video there. But moving forward, the plan is a video or a stream every day, including weekends. I want to continue to engage with you guys as much as I can. We're really picking up steam on these streams. Some people are donating to support the channel. And again, Koala33, I appreciate you guys donos. That's not the expectation, but it definitely helps me, definitely helps support the channel. Doc, again, I appreciate your bits. Guys that subscribed on YouTube during the stream, guys that followed on Twitch during the stream, I really appreciate it. And I love the fact that, we have people that consistently show up. That makes me so happy to know that you guys are enjoying the streams enough to be here every single time I stream. I really appreciate it. Later this evening, I might try and hop on Twitch and stream a little bit. If you guys just followed me on Twitch, I might do that. Nicholas again. Nicholas says, great stream as always. Thanks for making me a mod. Always support the channel. Hashtag road to 30K. Thank you, Nicholas, again. Well-deserved mod. You're always in streams. You're always in the comments. Really appreciate it. Again, guys, thank you so much. I know today's a little bit shorter than it was yesterday, but I really appreciate the support. And again, I hope to continue doing this and continue to see you guys as much as possible. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you all next time.